Have you ever looked at someone driving a luxury car, living in a beautiful home, or posting expensive vacations online and thought, they must be rich? Now here's the surprising part. Many people who appear wealthy are living paycheck to paycheck, while others who quietly invest, save, and avoid showing off are building fortunes most people never notice. So what does it actually mean to be rich? Is it about your salary? Your savings? Your investments? Or is it something much deeper? The answer might completely change how you measure your own financial success. Because the truth is, being in the top 10%, top 5%, or even the top 1% isn't just about earning more money. It's about understanding the difference between income, wealth, and financial freedom, a difference that millions of people misunderstand every single day. Most people judge wealth by what they can see. A bigger house. A newer car. Designer clothes. Luxury watches. But those things don't necessarily tell you how financially secure someone is. Imagine two neighbors. The first earns a very high salary. Every month, almost every dollar disappears into mortgage payments, car loans, vacations, subscriptions, and lifestyle upgrades. From the outside, life looks perfect. The second neighbor earns less but consistently invests a large portion of every paycheck. They avoid unnecessary debt, keep their expenses under control, and let their investments grow year after year. If you walk down the street, you'd probably assume the first person was richer. But 20 years later, the second neighbor may have accumulated far more wealth. This is one of the biggest money illusions people fall into. We confuse spending with wealth. Psychologists call this social comparison. Our brains naturally compare what we see with what others appear to have. Social media makes this even worse. We see vacations, luxury restaurants, expensive gifts, and dream homes, but we rarely see the loans, credit card balances, financial stress, or years of missed investing hidden behind those images. The comparison feels real, even when it isn't. That's why many people chase the appearance of wealth instead of building actual wealth. But income still matters. After all, earning more gives you more opportunities to save and invest. So where do the top 10%, top 5%, and top 1% actually fit in? Across countries like the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, Germany, and Switzerland, the exact numbers are different because wages, taxes, and living costs vary. Someone considered high income in one country might only be average in another. But the pattern is remarkably similar. As incomes rise, each step toward the top becomes dramatically more difficult. Moving from average income into the top 10% takes discipline, education, career growth, or entrepreneurship. Reaching the top 5% becomes much harder because you're competing with highly skilled professionals, successful business owners, and experienced investors. The top 1% is even more exclusive. At that level, many people don't rely only on salaries. Their investments, businesses, real estate, and ownership of valuable assets often generate a significant share of their income. That's an important distinction. Many people believe the richest people simply earn bigger paychecks. In reality, many of them own assets that continue producing income whether they're working or sleeping. Think about planting a tree. For years, it seems like almost nothing is happening. You water it. Protect it. Wait patiently. Then one day it starts producing fruit every season. Investing works much the same way. The early years can feel slow, even disappointing. But over time, compound growth begins doing more of the heavy lifting than your paycheck ever could. Unfortunately, our brains aren't naturally designed to appreciate slow progress. Behavioral economists have shown that humans consistently prefer immediate rewards over larger future rewards. Buying something today feels exciting. Investing for retirement 30 years from now feels abstract. That's why so many people delay investing. They tell themselves they'll start after the next raise. After buying a home. After paying off one more loan. After life becomes less busy. But life rarely becomes less expensive. As income increases, spending often increases with it. This is known as lifestyle inflation. A larger paycheck quickly becomes a larger mortgage. A nicer car. More expensive vacations. Higher monthly subscriptions. The extra income disappears before it ever has the chance to build wealth. Ironically, some of the happiest financially secure people aren't those earning the very highest incomes. They're the people who create a gap between what they earn and what they spend. That gap becomes savings. Those savings become investments. Those investments become financial independence. This is why two people earning exactly the same salary can end up living completely different futures. One spends nearly everything. The other consistently invests 20 or 30% of every paycheck. 10 years later, their financial lives barely resemble each other. The difference wasn't luck. It wasn't intelligence. It was behavior repeated consistently. This is where many people misunderstand the idea of being rich. Being rich isn't only reaching a certain income bracket. It's reaching the point where your money begins working harder than you do. Imagine waking up one morning knowing your investments produced income while you were asleep. Not enough to retire overnight. But enough to cover groceries. Or your utility bills. Or eventually your mortgage payment. That changes your relationship with work. You stop feeling trapped by every paycheck because you know another source of income is quietly growing in the background. The world's wealthiest individuals understand this principle exceptionally well. They don't focus only on earning. They focus on owning. Ownership creates leverage. Whether it's stocks, businesses, rental properties, or other productive assets, ownership allows wealth to grow beyond the limits of hours worked. That doesn't mean everyone needs millions of dollars. It means everyone benefits from thinking like an owner instead of only an employee. Even small investments made consistently over many years can become surprisingly powerful because time quietly multiplies disciplined decisions. So if you're wondering how rich you really are, ask yourself a different question. Not, how much do I earn? Instead ask, how much of my income is building my future instead of disappearing into today's lifestyle? That single question often reveals more than any income ranking ever could. Whether you're currently in the top 50%, the top 10%, or aiming for the top 1%, your financial future isn't determined by one paycheck. It's shaped by thousands of small decisions that rarely attract attention. The choice to invest before spending. The patience to let compound growth work. The discipline to ignore unnecessary comparisons. The willingness to build wealth quietly instead of trying to look wealthy loudly. Because in the end, real wealth isn't about impressing strangers. It's about creating choices. The choice to work because you want to, not because you have to. The choice to help your family without financial stress. The choice to retire on your own terms. Income can place you in a percentage. But your habits determine whether that percentage becomes lasting wealth. And that's the difference between looking rich and truly becoming wealthy.